The information contained in this video is for information, educational, and entertainment purposes only. Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for March 17th, 2022. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com, and we'll scroll down and look for this Zoom banner to join the demonstration of the SRC4u software. If you'd like to be part of Cathy's daily energy clearing group, the information's here to register. We'll click through. This will take us over to the Zoom call where the call will be live, so you may want to reduce the volume on your speakers.
Here we are. So much to think about with this. We again wanted the discarnate scan, and this scan isn't always negative. I want to show you here. Make it a little bigger. But it reminds me, I finally remembered years ago a book by Lynn Bradhorn. She had written a bestseller, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting. Does anybody remember that?
Oh my God, yes.
It was an amazing book, and it was she was a mortgage broker of all things.
Yeah,
and
I love that book.
Oh, I loved it too.
Oh, I
Yeah,
listened
so
to it over and over and over and over.
Yes. And she was, I loved her too. She had the cutest person, and in writing, the cutest personality. Well, what happened is I was in a shop, a New Age type shop, and I saw another book by her. And I pulled it off the shelf, and the owner of the shop said, I would like to give you that book. And I couldn't imagine. But I had given her a couple of, back then it was SKIO sessions. I thought, oh, okay. And it was interesting, at the beginning of the book, and tell me if I've already told you this story, but the beginning of the book, she said, I will ruin my reputation with this book. I accept that. I'll be lucky if 100 people read it, but I have no choice but to write it. And it turned out she had been hit with a bunch of negative energy after she wrote her book. And what happened, slow but sure, she was ruining her reputation anyway, because she would be set up to go speak, and then she'd get sick, couldn't go, etc., etc. And what she said in the book, just in summary, was that she was doing a little bit too much psychic stuff with people, and that we were no longer necessarily in a position where we could do that, because the discarnates were really wanting to come in for bodies, because something, she considered it something very powerful that was going to happen in a positive way on the planet, and they all wanted bodies. And of course, I read the book, and then I passed the book on. It had a lot in it that was very unusual for me at that time to read. But it came back to me the other day, literally, I won't say quite 100%, but so many people want this discarnate scan. And we did today, here's what we want. You can see it, inappropriate effect on sexual, I don't know why this comes up so much, by spirit attachment, divine light of God consciousness. Someone had a real good thing the other day. They said, instead of, how you might want to return negative energy that comes your way, instead of doing that, return God or Christ consciousness. Heal the scars of the mind, clear phobia, clear alcoholic spirit attachment. Let me see, I can't remember how far this went. All right, yeah, so get it there. Protected by infinite love. So you could, when you see something like this, let's just see if we would like a field generator for that. And you can see right here, 96% of an SRC startup scan as well today. No, we don't need it in that form. But again, this gender dysphoria and then inappropriate overreaction. So we're just going to add all these in. It's extremely subtle. And it's to me anyway, more of an awareness thing. And I want to share with you too, I may have someone now as a client who is being targeted. Are you all familiar with that at all?
Are they being targeted electronically?
Yes. This is a call I got from another SRC person, and she said, I don't know what to do with him. I'm going to refer him to you. Now, this guy, of course, he's in a bad position. What happens if this is even right? It appears, you can read up for yourself, there is a government program experimenting with this, and this guy, the walls are talking to him, etc., etc. And the work I did with the SRC did not help. He did finally call me yesterday. I had only talked with his SRC person out there. It had not helped. So I thought, well, let me see what else. I've got a few codes. I'm going to make a list for this, and then anybody who wants it can have it. But here's an example. For example, in the name of Jesus Christ, all electronic harassment is now replaced with Christ consciousness. And again, same thing here, all technological torture. There is a book, so I went ahead and added that as well. There is a book on Scribe. I was trying to learn something, but I really don't know much about it. And there is a young attorney by the name of Myron Mays who was a victim of this. He thought he was a victim of this. It's always a fine line. Have they just lost their mind? You know.
I'm going to interrupt, if I may. It's called brain to skull technology.
Right. There's a lot in there. Voice to skull, brain to skull. There's a lot in there. And from what I went ahead and pulled up the book, what happened is he took very detailed notes. He was a brilliant young man. And when this began to happen, he resigned his job, which was as a corporate attorney, and he went back to his hometown. And a lot of this targeting involves your finances and everything else. So he went back flat broke and sick, and but he kept notes, and he sent them to someone else who was involved in a group related to this, and they did take a book from it, and he did end his life. So it's just something. We know you can work with frequency, and it's something we may not be aware of. According to what I'm reading, this is not uncommon. Have you all done any reading about this?
No.
So I was trying to figure out, and I'm just going to keep kind of seeing what I can discover. But the SRC by itself doesn't seem to be that effective for this. However, the Moses Code, and I don't know if any of you have worked, where is it? I'll have to find it in here. The Moses Code, combined with the SRC, seem to have a very high impact, 90%. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more too. That's actually what I did when my computer went down. I went ahead, I'd read it, but I haven't been doing much with it, just a hair of information. I'm putting something together for that. But you can see
because I'm so far out there in woo-woo world, this might be something that Cliff High can help us with. So if you want me to send him an email, I will. Or I'll give you his
let's
email.
just hold off. Yeah, let's just hold off for now. Let's just hold off until, we get a little bit more information. This is a heck of a thing. I just had that SRC scan out and the Moses Code out. And maybe it was out and I just couldn't see it. Here we are. So what I've been doing, you can play around with all this, but what you were trying to see is what the top stressors are. Identify and eliminate factors that can lead to disease, remove what creates biological deregulation and disease. And of course, we know This is all etheric, not physical. I'll just make sure. I know we know, but if there ever is a little recording of this, well, let's just start.
Cathy, can you change your screen back to green again?
Okay, I will do it after the call. I just updated finally this morning, which was a pleasure and very easy to do. So, all right, so let's just go here. This would show, and it's all subtle, our top stress. We're looking good as we go down. Okay, a little dehydration, so we could be getting a little more water, good water in. See, that mold stress keeps coming up. Well, that's another topic. By the way, it's really a challenge to find much information on amoeba. So if anybody has access to it, let me know. But let's go ahead and house that in. Response to stress. So how do we respond? Do we eat more, drink more, tune out, get angry, whatsoever? Our response to stress may be creating more stress. Oh my. So we might want to examine that at this moment in time. The GMO foods. Still a big factor. And as we know, we've got this powerful gadget that is affected by some of this as far as it's in there again, the poor nutrition. Well, it's something we all have to be aware of. And it looks like a lot of our supplements may be a little less than we are thinking. We may be spending a fortune if our cells aren't able to process it.
Cathy, question about the GMO foods.
Yeah.
What does it mean anyway?
Well, that's what they have done to genetically modify the foods. The idea being they're wanting to prevent famine on the planet. That's what they say. Of course, the name Monsanto, one interpretation of Monsanto is one Satan, and which I find interesting. But it's just you have to read up on it yourself. There's a lot of opposition, but that opposition, in a sense, doesn't seem to be being effective. And yet, a few years ago, I went to a conference, the Soho conference, and they said many, many more farms than we are aware are attempting to go back to organic.
Because you hear a lot about not having GMO in the food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see a lot of we have alternatives. Okay, but now again, we don't need the nutrient cocktails. For the group, I think it's just a matter of awareness, and this is so subtle. And let's just go ahead and take that out. And then we've got the, and I probably should go, I did this already. We want to include our pets and our business, which was done. But I may have to go back through now. We've got this powerful upgrade, and we may not need some of this. So we'll go back today. I'll go back today and see if we can clean this up a little bit. But for now, and as you see, if you don't feel like fooling with the Excel spreadsheet, or if you're not set up for it, some of these lists aren't that long that you just can't quickly scan down. And again, it feels like, to me anyway, we're looking pretty good today. Okay, this cut chords, this is an interesting, and we have a more detailed command for that. Let's go in here. Well, again, numbers look pretty good. We do want a deeper scan, all right. We want the E-body today, don't let me forget. General options.
You got Earth there too.
What's that?
You had Earth. You missed Earth.
Yes, yeah, I need to go back to that. We've been requesting that a little bit more too, which is interesting because for quite a while it was there, but very few other individuals or group wanted it. So yeah, let's. It takes a while to load.
It was my understanding that if you didn't need the frequency, the program wouldn't give it to you, or it would just check and then pass it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for example, if we, what I've been told also, let's say you try to interfere and send someone a sense of energy and you don't have permission, or perhaps, it's not positive, that the SRC will then just start working on you.
Okay, so are we just adding more time and asking the software to run the whole cocktail, or what's?
That's a good question. What do you think? Are you there, Kevin? I personally have better results when I go a little deeper. We could just hit the wonder click on days that, you have little time. Mm-hmm. The wonder click is phenomenal, or, if you want to, split it up and do different things that are already built in. But for me, if I want to go deep and really, really see some lives change even more, I will go in and do this stuff.
Well, absolutely, yeah, you're right, and thank you for that.
But I think too that the SRC probably has some of that in there going as well, just with the wonder click.
And it's doing everything at 1.2 million times a second too.
Yes.
Kevin, were you taking a break?
No, I was on another computer repairing it.
No excuse.
Multitasker.
That's right. So you see, we're asking, as far as general options, we're asking to give a little extra energy to the injury panel. There also the organ. And that organ panel, as long as you're there, that's not a real long list. So you could go in, if I can. And it's interesting just to do a little quick find options and see what organ at this moment in time may be a little stressed. So we've got the gallbladder, the heart, and kidneys. And stomach. So it's just interesting. You don't have to do any more with that because.
And skin?
Yeah.
Oh,
skin.
did skin come? I didn't see. Okay, so thank you. So I need to get stronger glasses here. And then we'll take the symptoms. And that's a very long list.
I have a question about the targeted individuals. What are they getting too close to, or like what case was that lawyer working on? What happened?
Oh, the lawyer, yeah, the book, just little bit I've read so far, he wasn't doing anything. They loved him. They loved him at the law office, and he was doing great work. And then one day he just came out and typed his list of, or typed his resignation letter, cleaned out his desk and left, and they were stunned. And but what was happening to him in his home, and this is even the man I'm, in communication with now, his walls were talking to him. It's similar if you had gone schizophrenic. Like one night he took his shower, and when he got out, he was putting on lotion, and something said, "Oh, look at him now, he's putting on lotion." And apparently with this kind of technology, you can sit across the street in a car and work with certain antennas that do this kind of thing. So he was going through these things, and he was convinced that, he's a brilliant man. He didn't, some people, they just fade away with this. But in his case, he began to research, and he got in touch with some different groups. I'll show you here. There are some groups, target individuals internationally. I went in to see last night if I could do a session on that. It was not there. I just kind of playing around. Okay, here's the other one, freedom from covert harassment. So there are groups, and he apparently contacted some and got in touch. And I don't think he put up with this for over 2 months. And it's a very tragic ending. I'll let you read up on that on your own. But that's the information I have so far. And of course, we don't know. We don't know yet, too. You've got to be fair. Maybe he did have mental health problems. Maybe he did lose his mind. But if that's the case, there seem to be quite a few people losing their minds.
It sounds similar to the Havana syndrome, where
Okay, what's that?
in Cuba, some U.S. State Department and embassy people were targeted with microwaves of some kind and caused them severe headaches and really disrupted their mental capacity.
Yes. And that we had the documentation on that. So yeah, absolutely. We know what frequency can do. Let's see, don't let me miss anything here, please.
Oh, is there something we can run all the time to counteract that?
Well, I don't know if we need to focus on it or not, but just have awareness. I don't know. That's a good question. Anybody have an opinion on that?
I would say what can it hurt?
All right. Here is also, we want Grabivore. I love to see when we want Grabivore. We get so much information. We want a lot today. That was kind of what yesterday was like too. We want the SSTT. neurotransmitter scan. Look at this that we're talking about today. Balance all glands. Balance whole body. Taking 6 hours for that. Oh, and this is, I don't need that. That's for our sustenance balancer. I added that. I'm still trying to figure out, playing with this sustenance balancer, basically. Let's look at the deeper scan. But I am seeing results with people with specific forms of stress, that if I, make a little scan and do it consistently, they seem to have a little bit of relief of that stress. On it. This is what's happened. Yeah, it's not wanting to give me my list here of the deeper scan. Let's try it one more time. So,
You didn't lose it, did you?
no, I think we're pretty lucky with the stuff is still in there. Just takes a little bit more effort. Okay, so actually we want to do make that a little larger. It's the water toxins, and then there is that protozoan again. So you can go in when you have several. You can always go in. And we'll definitely do the water toxin scan anyway, but let's go priority for sheet and just see which one is the most important right now. That's fairly significant. Well, that's a little higher, the cellular memory. And I'll go back and do the water toxins too. You may not, there we go, let's see. Okay. Let's just see if we can keep it simple here. There's betrayal. Hopelessness. Identity conflict.
Wait a minute, you missed negativity.
Okay, wait a minute here. Aha, thank you, thank you. Sense of being a victim. And then if you wanna, you could just put all this in. Let's just see if we can get some information. That's related. Cellular memory of betrayal.
Do we have raised SSTT?
You will have it. I got that little book. We're trying to get it formatted, and all of them are in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some stress there. It's not, doesn't look like that's the major. Let's just go ahead and for today use the Gong stress. And the thing of it is, as we all know in this group, our cells are like little tape recorders, they say. So, okay. And about the same level there. That's a little higher. And of course, it looks like we all have a massive identity conflict when it comes to realizing the power we have. Oh, wait a minute. That's not good. But wait a minute. I had it as a good thing. And it comes up a little bit to about a 43. That's higher, stress-related to cellular memory of negativity. In other words, programmed in, but we know it can be cleared. And then stress-related to cellular memory of some sort of victimhood or sense of being a victim. And we will create it if that's in our thought process. Oh my goodness, look at that. 100% stress related to cellular memory of sense of being a victim. Now that should be O and C for now. While I'm waiting for that to run up, let's go ahead and scan quickly to grab a boy. Okay, so we've got it now. So I don't know where that came from, especially considering this is the group. But this is interesting. Let's see if we want priority fatigue victim cocktail. No, not quite. See if we want the victim command. Again, not quite, but that's interesting, at least to me, to see that.
What's 432 hertz?
You know what? Somebody needs to look it up now and refresh my memory. I am not sure, but I just know it. This list gets pretty crazy because when I read something and I check to see if there's a code and add it. So if anybody wants to look up and see that one and tell us, that would be great. Of course, we don't know if it'll come up in our scan. It's quite a long scan, as you can tell. This can give you a real good idea of focus for the week, etc. We don't always, as a group, want it, but you can do this for individuals, especially to see what their true focus is.
You want to hear what it says about 432 hertz?
Oh, thank you. Yes, yes, yes.
432 hertz music offers a listener a framework in which to understand negative or overwhelming interactions with media by locating this negativity in a specific frequency, as well as opportunities to exercise self-control over what is orally consumed. Orally here, not oral mouth. Yeah.
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 Well, you know, somebody was just talking the other day, I can't remember who it was, about at a point they changed the frequency of our music. And of course, everywhere you go, there's music, even grocery shopping. And of course, this might contribute to our sense of being a victim as we realize these things. We have to know also we can certainly manage them, but it's interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting. And the thing that I have been struggling with lately is YouTube is not a user-friendly site in terms of a higher consciousness. Let's just put it that way. I am dubious anymore about putting up. I used to just put in a hertz and listen to it or whatever, but now I'm not so confident with that.
I agree with you.
I agree too.
I put the hertz in the SRC. And luckily I have a frequency, I have a rife machine that I can put frequencies in. But I was thinking last night, for some reason, I happened to see an old CD out of the corner of my eye when we're kind of going through cupboards and stuff, getting rid of stuff for moving, to look into some of my old CDs or something and maybe listen to that music that I know would probably be a little more... I feel more confident with it. Let's just put it that way. I don't know if anybody else has kind of thought about that or not.
I know that.
I had not thought of that. Yeah.
I know a lot of people are buying up the vinyl records for the specific purpose of, you can play it backwards and see if it's healthy for you to listen to.
Yeah, there's so much manipulation that's been done with music. I don't know. It's sad because, we love music.
Well, and it's so healing. All right,
Yes.
so we've got some codes here. I'm going to be dowsing these in as we go. Let me just look at them now, and you might, we can add all of them. Clear all familiar spirits, dehypnotize, eye infection. So someone in the group is going with that. Lengthen telomeres. That's not a bad thing. That's another one, limonene. I no longer remember what that one was for. Listen to the inner voice. Here's one. Lord, you created high places for your glory. Let not the enemy control the high places. This is always interesting. Maintain mitochondrial health. We have some really good cocktails. Let's see if that's a priority for Qi. Not necessarily the cocktail. Let's just see how we look right now with that code, because that's our whole battery there. Okay, let's amp that up and then see if we want it in the sustenance balancer. As we see some chronic stress there. So I'll be doing more work with this. We don't need to all sit here for it. Let me see again how far off the zeros went. Yeah, so we're even working on sales in here. Look at that. I don't know how many are in a sales profession, but I'll let you know a little bit more tomorrow about this. And also, we can look at let's quickly look at the SSTTs. No, that's going to be, I don't think I can pull that up. Nope, it's cut it down. I'll have to pull that up and tell you that one tomorrow as well. Let's see what else we've got. We want to do a lot of work with the glands. Actually, let me just look at something here. I don't know that we can do it this way. Yeah, we still are not in a position to scan, so I'll have to find the list. And just 10 minutes. Restore to divine blueprint. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, a little stress there with that one. Well, just see if we want to do that with the mastery. Seems like that's a good one to run every day, or the scheduler. Well, we could do the mastery. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Let's look at the scheduler. Now, that's the whole deal, probably. No? Okay, so okay, so that's the end of that list. Let me, with this in mind, we have one new cocktail. I, of course, have a story with it. We all know that the spiritual law is all, this is physics, and that we have what we need. And because of writing these blessings, which can be a work in progress, has anybody looked up anything on the blessings, any books or anything on that? It is interesting, but here's a blessings cocktail. And I had a friend over on Monday who her computer isn't working, and she is having a terrible time getting paid. She sold something, and the check should be like $1,900, and she has not been able to get that check because there's some kind of form that needs to be signed, and the people that sign it, their site's always down, and she was just desperate. She really needed that paycheck. So she came over Monday, and it was the same thing. It was no result. She had to go home. So she came back over Tuesday to try it again. And I said, look, I ended up putting this blessing cocktail together. Let's try it and just sit for a little bit. Let's run this and then try it. And I'll be doggone if she didn't go in and get right through and she's got her paycheck. Now, the problem with energy, one of the problems, is you don't know what did it. It may be going to happen anyway, but you know our old philosophy, what does it hurt? I'd rather focus on the blessings than this other negative stuff. And so these are the codes. I already put the code in, but let me just show you real quickly, because I had someone mention that they were not familiar with how to do a cocktail. So all you do, and we've already done it, but we can replace it. Just go ahead and copy the codes. It's not wanting to. I really need I'm not going to show you today. I need a blank SRC to show you, but I will show you first thing tomorrow. But I don't know that we need this one. We did, the day I made it, we had a 90% priority to have it run. We may not need it today. Let's just see.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I think, I know it. I think, let's just see, maybe we'll take it whether we have a high priority or not. Yeah, well, we're up there. Look at that. Okay, so let's load that up. That's what I'm looking at more than anything. We have tools. We don't have to feel like a victim or any of these other things because we're not here for that. So we got our blessings cocktail. Let's just see.
I got a question.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lady friend of mine. Well, she was a lady friend, but she owes me some money, and she hasn't paid anything on paying me back at all. So you think that the SRC could be a help for that?
Well, the more, of course, you know how it goes. You get into something and you're all excited and think about it maybe more than you need to. I would bless her. I would bless her and see what comes of that. Yes, you can then go in, see what I've been doing. Just ask your dowser, or you have your regular pendulum too, and ask for that. But this blessing stuff, if you get in there and read on this, I think you're gonna be intrigued. Now here's our top thing at this moment in time, and that's our adrenals. Let's just see. We do have an adrenal scan. But remember, the SRC, probably the Wonder Click right now is all we need. And no, we don't need the adrenal scan, but we have it if we did. Large intestine meridian. Let me just see if that might help a little bit. Bladder. A lot of acupuncture work here. Body infection. Let's just check. Stress related to infection. Okay. It's significant. But you see, you're not seeing much in the way of some of this first stuff popping up. Obviously, stress. We're doing a lot of work with our glands today. So there again, the stress factor, our marrow, which is tied in to infection. Words to ponder, pretty much all the honest truth telling in the world is done by children. It's probably true. And that did seem like we've been taught the opposite of so much that is true. And the resistance factor, our conscious. What are we willing to work with and what are we not willing to work with? Okay, so we want to do acupuncture in reference to this kind of stress. Let's just see what we've got. Okay, a lot of heart chakra work has been requested lately too by individuals as well as the group. You can see the connections here, all subtle. 45 minutes. So anything else anybody can think of we missed? You get in and anything?
There's just so much. Can't do
It
everything
really is.
every day.
You can't, and that's one thing about at the very end, when we click this wonder click, it's going to catch what we've missed. But yeah, I don't mean to ever give the impression I like to do this and I have the time at this point in my life. But so I spend a lot of time doing this. I think it's just what I am wanting to do, but it's not necessary. You can go in and quickly do your work, and then when you have a situation where you want to do some extra manifesting, go in and work with these things. But we obviously, with all our subtle bodies and etc., we got some things going. We've got some things going on, and it looks like for a long time we've been unaware, so maybe got some catch-up work. I think that's all that's new today. Yeah, that was all that was new. But do you want this list of the cellular memory things?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll make sure to include that. So,
Are you going to send out those blessings too?
well, I only have the one that I've written on the,
Okay.
I'm working on it. I have the one I wrote on a client. I don't want to send their personal blessing, but
Oh, sure.
absolutely, absolutely. And you all too, if you find something that looks good, test it for priority for Chi to see if, and then if you do write one, we'd love it.
And then
Thank you so much, Cathy.
Yeah, well, thank you. I guess here we are. We're done for today, and I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Have a
Um,
good
Thank you, Cathy.
Thanks, Cathy.
Bye.
Give everybody a good day.
day.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call. Thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.